Welcome to Boots in Baltimore. I'm LeeAnn Blanchard. I'm here with Derrick Vaughan, founder of the Charmtastic Mile. So, what is the Charmtastic Mile?
Well, LeeAnn, the Charmtastic Mile is the chic and famed 1.3 mile corridor that connects downtown West, Inner Harbor, and Harbor East. We were introduced to the city of Baltimore on April 25th, 2016, and we were inspired by the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, the iconic 13 blocks of Michigan Avenue, which has world-renowned recognition as one of the top 10 streets in all of America and is known throughout the world.
So, where exactly does it go from? What are the boundaries?
It starts at West Pratt and Greene Street,
Okay.
and it goes all the way to President and South President and Fleet Street, entering Harbor East. And we have three ceremonial signs: one in the downtown West corridor, one in the harbor, and one, of course, entering Harbor East. So,
and they look like that.
They look like that, yeah. The first sign was actually right outside this wonderful, the Renaissance Harbor Place Hotel, which is like our headquarter hotel. We are featured here. We do a lot of things from here, but it was placed at South Cowlett and Pratt Street in the mouth, entering the Inner Harbor Pavilion. So we did that September 19th. 2019, so 9/19/19, and it was at 9:19 a.m. So we try to keep everything kind of organized and synchronized.
So it's easy to remember.
Easy to remember. Easy for me too, especially when I'm talking to people.
Okay, so you're the founder. What gave you this idea? You mentioned it was influenced by Magnificent Mile, but why here?
Back in 2011, I opened up the Corner Bistro and Wine Bar with my brother, and about a year into it, I was standing there, just right there in the middle. I don't know how it found me in the middle of Pratt Street. And I'm looking down and I said, you know what? Since it was Corner Bistro and Wine Bar, we started as the Winetastic Mile.
Oh.
And initially, we got a little buzz, but when we had a meeting with Tom Newton, who was the head of Visit Baltimore, this is before Al Hutchinson, who's doing a marvelous job, by the way, Tom Newton said that it wasn't indicative of families. He said it was wine. So he said it wasn't indicative of Baltimore. And he said he could understand wine events, but it wasn't indicative of Baltimore. So when Tom, I took it a little on the chin, like the Ravens took a little chin on yesterday. But I said to myself, you know what? He's right. So just going through all the different possibilities, since we wanted to stay with the Tastic theme, we said Charmtastic, of course, of the Charm City nickname.
Okay, well, that makes sense. So how can businesses get involved with this?
We're going to be reaching out to businesses, especially with Charm City 50 coming up, LeeAnn. That's the great thing about this. Charm City 50 will be the 50th anniversary of the Charm City nickname, which was coined in 1975 by then Mayor William Donald Schaefer. So 2025, the quarter century of the new millennium, and also the 50th anniversary of Charm City, is going to be a marvelous year for the city.
Wow.
Okay. It's gonna be more marvelous than LaMarvelous. Mr. Jackson was a good friend of mine. I know Lamar, and I really feel for him and the Ravens.
Well, does it cost anything to participate?
Actually, no. We're going to let companies just basically, if they're connected with the Charmtastic Mile, use the actual Charm City 50 decal. And here's the thing, LeeAnn: Charm City 50 this past Tuesday, the 23rd, became a registered trademark. We actually kind of like trumped the Ravens in some sense, because they wanted to trademark Charm City, and they didn't do it. But Charm City 50 is a registered trademark, just like the Charmtastic Mile. The Charmtastic Mile is the only registered trademark street in all of Baltimore.
Wow. So
it can be big business down the road, especially as Baltimore continues to grow, especially as we become more of a metropolis. And think about it. The Charmtastic Mile can be considered the gateway to the Northeast or gateway to the Southeast.
Yeah, part of the reason that I was attracted to Baltimore myself is that it did seem to be perfectly poised, perfectly positioned along the East Coast. You can go north, you can go south, you can go west, you can go east.
Right. A lot that you can do. Especially by these major, think about it, if you got California, right? From LA to Sacramento is like 8 hours. Well, Baltimore to Boston is 8 hours.
But
if you fly, you can get there.
Yes, but you can get to New York,
minutes.
you can get to Philly,
exactly.
You can get down south. It's really well positioned. It's nicely in the middle.
Especially with all these major cities, just to have an iconic street. You know, when you think about it, if you think about other major cities, they have that iconic street. New York has a plethora of them, of course, Wall Street, Fifth
Right.
Avenue, Broadway, and a lot of them been featured a lot of times. Magnificent Mile, I've seen a couple of commercials
Hmm.
where it's been featured. So it's great that Baltimore now is going to have that, because when you say Windy City, you say
Hmm.
Chicago, but you're going to say Charm City, Baltimore, Charmtastic Mile. It all works, you know,
Hmm.
all goes hand in hand.
And it's an opportunity for those businesses to band together and leverage all their marketing so
Exactly.
that it promotes everyone
It,
together.
you know, LeeAnn, it will. We've talked with David Bramble and Associates with the new Inner Harbor project, and one of the things I've mentioned to him, I say, look, David, if you have a connection, you think about it. You have the Inner Harbor, you have the Charmtastic Mountain. Now you got that iconic street to go along with selling the new harbor concept. I think it'll bode well for you and those who are involved, and especially when you're trying to attract. You need big business. You don't have big business, this thing is not going to work.
Well, speaking of attracting business, what are some of the barriers to tourism that we're trying to overcome with the Charmtastic Mile?
Oh, well, I think one of the things is, and LeeAnn, would be perfectly honest with you, this is going to be us working with the city because it's not owned by the city.
Right.
The Charmtastic Mile is individually owned,
Independent.
independent, and one of the things is we want to work on the city with a 100-year agreement. We like to have it by sometime next year, so that we have that as a doctrine for the future, for future generations. After all of us are even not here, fortunately, none of us can live forever, but it's there for future generations to promote the city of Baltimore and
Hmm.
also be a part of the history and the lore that people look back and say, we
Hmm.
saw this part, now it's that. But it's like Nike. Phil Knight did not come out a $1 billion company. He started selling shoes in the trunk of his car back in the early 70s. So something
Right.
has to have a start point, and we started 8 years ago, and we think that things are really, really going to take off in the next 12 months, 12 to 18 months, especially when we hit the Charm City 50, which the official launch date for Charm City 50 will be 1/25/25, January 25th, 2025.
It's all about those magic dates, magic
Magic Dates is
numbers.
part of the marketing, honey. It's part of the marketing. And also, just to let you know, just so you show your viewership, this is the jersey, the Charm City 50 jersey that I'll be wearing in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. It has the decal, the
The
EST
patch. Hmm.
1975, and then, of course, the Super Bowl decal logo on there, and that beautiful Charm City. And then, of course, in the back there, I'm going to be walking around there and say, Charm City, what's that? Of course, it's Baltimore.
Unfortunately, the Ravens won't be there to
You
join
know,
you, but
but this is the thing, Leanne. The actual logo for the Super Bowl 58 has purple. So I think they were thinking maybe this might be the Ravens' year. But another thing too, along with the Charmtastic Miles registered trademark, there's only a few streets that have this distinction. It's Rodeo Drive,
Mhm.
the Magnificent Mile, uh, Charmtastic Mile, and Las Vegas Boulevard, Vegas Strip. They're all registered trademarks.
Huh.
So Baltimore has something that's very, very distinct. Wall Street is a trademark in its own, but Wall Street itself is not a trademark. Now there's Broadway, but yeah. And then we also have a link, we say, with the NFL and sports, the 1.3 and the 13 blocks. Now, two of the
Mhm.
iconic streets, of course, 13 blocks is going to be Bourbon Street, New Orleans, and the Magnificent Mile in Chicago. Well, I don't know if you like Miami, but Ocean Drive in Miami, just like the Charmtastic Mile, is a 1.3 mile corridor.
Hmm.
So we're going to be connecting with them with future endeavors that connects some of the major iconic streets, and hopefully we can form a league and make it like the NFL. Because once you have that, then you're definitely going to want to have corporations that say, okay, I'm on the top 30
Yep, yep.
iconic streets in all of America. So
Interesting.
see,
Well,
it's business, Leanne. I like
it's a
seeing
really interesting idea. I
concept.
think it's
Yes, it
really
is. I
cool.
appreciate you inviting me. You know,
Well, so how long have you lived in Baltimore, and what's some of your personal story?
Baltimore. I was born November 13th. See, the 13th. I went there. 1969. I was born in East Baltimore. My mom raised me and my brother by herself. My father helped out a little bit, but my mother and my grandmother, my grandparents were very instrumental in my life. And I went to Baltimore City Public Schools. And one thing that I'm proud, very proud of, I tell people this: consider my Schaefer's kids, a Schaefer's kid. I was in Baltimore City Public Schools from 1974 to 1987. And before I graduated, he had just became the governor of the great state of Maryland. So I consider myself a Schaefer's kid, and to be connected to anything associated with him, especially Charm City, it's just one of those personal things that I'm very, very proud and honored to be about. And also, I played rec league basketball and high school basketball here in Baltimore. When basketball days are long gone, I still enjoy watching the games.
But deep roots in the community, and this seems to be a real passion.
Oh, it's a passion because the city, it's a great city, and we have some positive and a lot
Challenges.
and challenges.
Yep.
You know, we've especially coming from the Freddie Gray situation, and the fact that we don't have the port jobs or the manufacturing jobs that we had yesteryear. My great uncle, who worked for Bethlehem Steel, was able to retire and move to South Carolina. He and my aunt, and they lived to be in their 90s. But they had a nice life, and people was able to do that with minimal education. Those opportunities are not there now, so we have to figure out how can we get young people more opportunities. And one of the things is having something like the Charmtastic Mile that helps to attract different corporations and business that can give these young people an opportunity. And also help this wonderful hospitality industry, like this wonderful, as I said before, the Renaissance Hotel has been very, very helpful with us, and we're very honored to be associated with them.
And those are jobs too.
And there's the jobs too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the bellmen and the front desk people, I'll come through and they say, Derrick, people can ask about the Charmtastic Mile, people can ask about the Charmtastic Mile, and I say thank you very much.
All right. Well, we are happy to be part of that promotion.
Absolutely. Anytime you want me to come to talk to groups of yours and they want to know about it, we definitely. I love to talk about it. You can see I can just keep going on and on and on. So, but I think it's just a great thing for the city. And I look like 5 years from now, we'll be like, wow, it was definitely worth the hard work and all the being diligent and being a pursuant of it. Because if you don't, these type of things don't happen. They don't manifest.
Well, I'm happy to meet you and learn all about it.
Our pleasure.
And if other people want to learn more about it, where should they go?
Go to www.thecharmtasticmile.com. Just Google Charmtastic Mile. We even had an association and link to the great Miss Taylor Swift.
Oh.
So Taylor was on the mile and hanging out on the mile. She stayed at a hotel. She didn't stay here, but she stayed at a hotel that was just steps from the Charmtastic Mile.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Derrick. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It was a great interview. I like it. I'll do this again. I've done television and I enjoy doing interviews. And I just love talking about the city of Baltimore. And of course, I love talking about the Charmtastic Mile. As I said, I go on and on all day with that.
All right. Well, thank you. And thanks for watching. Another episode of Boots in Baltimore will be with you soon.